Communications.
Go.
We're Go Flight.
All right, let's have our theme. Here we go, baby. It's Church Chat with Pastors Dan and Dave. Come hang out with us on our stream. It's Church Chat Wednesday.
It is Church Chat Wednesday. Welcome, 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 everybody out there. I am Pastor Dan.
And I'm Pastor Dave, drinking the strongest coffee in the world.
The strongest coffee in the world, brewed by none other than James Coffee Bean Adkins over there.
That's right.
And we are glad that you are with us for this snowy 2-hour delay version of Church Chat. My kids had, well, your kid has a 2-hour delay, but do you care? Does it affect your life in any way?
It does not affect my life in any way at all, except he forgot to take out the garbage, so...
He had 2 extra hours and he doesn't take out the garbage? Oh, man. And that's exactly what you're going to say, isn't it? You had 2 extra hours and you didn't take out the garbage?
I didn't take out the garbage because I don't have anywhere to put it. I'd have to put it in the middle of my driveway because it's the only thing to shovel.
That's what I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Because by the time I get home, it'll be gone.
Oh, and by the way, you might notice out there today, I've been told that when I laugh, it's extremely loud. So James went out and found some technology that apparently is a suppressor for my loud laughs.
Your guffaw?
My guffaw. It's a Metzger male trait. We all have this laugh, and so apparently there's a button that is supposed to keep it from, I don't know, bursting your eardrums if you're listening. So
technically, it's a compressor.
Compressor.
So what it does is if you're
I feel
quiet,
compressed.
Right. If you're quiet, it brings you up, and if you're loud, it brings you down.
I feel compressed.
Yeah, it's good. You'll be even now.
I'll be even keeled. It did snow a lot, and I got to get the snowblower out yesterday. Hopefully, everybody out there was able to stay warm and get shoveled out and all that good stuff. So I got my snowblower out. You got yours out, and then it died.
It was an electric snowblower, which was awesome. Awesome. It was really I mean, everybody was shocked, but apparently it's not
electric. They were shocked. It's funny.
Yeah. But apparently it's not supposed to handle. I mean, between our two houses, we had drifts up to my thighs.
Yeah.
And
couldn't do it.
15 minutes later, so I had to go to Cary to get a new one. That's gas powered now. Look out.
Have you enjoyed using it?
No, because we were done.
You were already done. So now you have a snowblower.
Get my car out until,
and it won't snow again for another 5 years.
I told Heidi it's insurance. But see, for me, if there's a half an inch of snow, that snowblower's coming out.
You're gonna use it anyway.
Yeah.
Just all right.
You gotta feel macho.
This summer we get a little bit of hail. You'll be out there with your snowblower,
throwing rocks and whatnot,
enjoying your life. Well, good for you. And I have a friend who's down in Texas, in the suburbs of Dallas. So I don't know if you've seen what's going on down there, but it's not been very great. They had snow, not as much as us, but Texas couldn't really handle it. Power grid couldn't keep up with it. A lot of people out of power down there. So his church right now, he's a pastor. His church is basically a refugee center right now for everybody because they have power at their church, and so everybody's coming there to stay warm and get fed and stuff like that. So thinking about you all down in Texas. And I know there's been a lot of issues because of that. Then they've had some really cold temperatures and pipes freezing and those kind of things. And I don't know if you saw what I posted on Facebook yesterday, but apparently it's so cold down in South Padre Island that sea turtles were in shock and were coming up to the beach and basically, they're cold-blooded. And so they're they were in peril, hundreds and hundreds. And there's pictures of people with their minivan stacked floor to ceiling with sea turtles, taking them to a convention center to stay warm. And then in this convention center, the floor is just nose to tail with sea turtles.
That's a lot of soup.
Have you ever had turtle soup?
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, not my favorite thing I've ever had. Now, it was snapping turtle. Is that what you had?
I've also had. When we go to.
Have you eaten a sea turtle?
I don't know what
Dave,
they make out of. I don't,
they're like endangered, probably.
Okay. It's delicious. I don't know what they make it out of, but it is on the ocean. So I'm assuming. But that's a lot of soup, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But I love snow. I love it. Love it.
You do love snow.
Yep.
You
Bring
are.
it on.
Yes, you're very excited. I am that person that I love snow on Christmas Eve through January 1st, and then it can go away.
I want snow
I'm
from
ready for
Thanksgiving.
I'm ready for summer. I want to plant my garden. I want to do it
March.
all now. No, that's terrible.
I woke up at 4:45 yesterday because it snowed and I was excited.
Dave, I love you as a Christian brother. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard anyone ever say. That is just terrible.
I got up. I got my coffee ready. I got my
That
snowblower ready.
James, how do you feel about snow? Are you a snow guy? I mean, you lived in Florida. You know, you've lived all over, but you know,
I don't mind snow so much. The shoveling of my driveway was pretty intense, and so I could do without that. I actually did half of it, and then I saw a guy driving by with a blade on his truck, so I was like, he said he'd do it for $10, so I gave him 15 to finish up my driveway for him.
very nice.
But yeah, I don't know. As long as it's only for this amount of time, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
It
looks nice.
You know what? It was a decent amount. I saw on some things like, we had like almost 12 inches of snow or something like that. And they were saying that in the big blizzard of 78, which was before my time.
77 and 78.
Before my time. I'm told that, this is like the worst thing that's ever happened and all stuff, but it was only a few more inches in this. However, I know it was like negative wind chills that were really extreme and a lot of wind, which caused big drifting.
Right.
But it wasn't actually much more snow.
We didn't have Netflix
than what we
back
got.
then.
But there were
And there was
people
no-
buried to their roof.
Yeah, and I've seen the pictures. My family actually put pictures of like people sledding off the roof of their house and those things. But I mean, it is interesting to think it wasn't actually that much more snowfall than what we just got. It was the wind and.
Well, I think I've mentioned this to you before, but growing up in Akron, right outside of a couple snow belts, our superintendent's philosophy was if he could walk his dog, you can go to school.
Okay.
So these are the days that we had off for snow. 77, 78, and 86. Those were all blizzards.
That was it.
That's it.
Everything else, you're going to school.
Yep. And in 77,
Now in Akron,
my sister
though,
and I walked to school
Right.
up to here, and they got there and they were like, go to the cafeteria. So we went to the cafeteria. Nobody realized that because we didn't have all this technology. So my mama had to walk and go get us and bring us home. We didn't know school was closed.
So there were people there, though, to let you into the cafeteria at least. I mean, so you had that going for you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you lived in town. And that's the difference around here is that there are people who live out in the country. It's flat. You get all the drifting. I understand. But, yeah, I would rather have a cancellation personally than a 2-hour delay.
Yes.
2-hour delay days. So Amelia goes to Lincoln. And, I mean, school doesn't start there till like 11.
Yeah.
And then my first kid's done at 2:30, so I have that much time within my day to actually get anything done. So, and I'm spending an hour of it with you. So I mean, what a waste of my life. What a waste of my day.
Yeah. Speaking of, we didn't segue our guests, and James might have him on the line.
Oh, we're ready to pull him in whenever you.
Are we ready? All right. So we have a
I was
really,
really just trying to get Dan to move on. So,
we have a really kind of fun guest today. This is Brian, who works at and owner of Axe Ventura, the new axe throwing venue right down on Main Street. So, Brian, you hear us?
You got? Can you hear? Oh wait, hold on. Do I not have something right?
Maybe you can. Can you hear us out there?
Yep, I hear you.
All right, he can hear us. All right. Hey, this is Pastor Dan, and I'm here with Pastor Dave. So thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Tell us a little bit about X Ventura and how all this got started.
Well, I'm actually just the manager there.
Okay.
But the owners are from Kenton. They are in Ann Arbor. That we opened our first store there about a year ago, about a year and a half ago now. And they always grew up going to Findlay kind of on the weekends as their destination getaway type place. They felt like Findlay needed some sort of activity to do. There's a lot of restaurants and stuff like that in Findlay, but there's not a lot of places to just go hang out, kind of cut loose, have a good time. So they decided to come to Findlay, and I saw the job posting for an axe throwing manager. I'm like, well, that just sounds kind of fun. So I took the interview, and here we are.
So I actually came on Sunday night, and with some of my family. That's like how we celebrated my birthday that weekend and had a good time. And our guy who was our I forget what title you give them, our axe throwing instructor.
Our axe master.
Axe master. I knew there was a title, but I know how great of a title.
I know.
He went to Bluffton, where I went. He actually graduated with my brother. And I asked him, did he study axe throwing at Bluffton? Because I didn't know that was a possibility. Like, how do you learn to do this?
Yeah, that was actually me. I was your axe master Sunday.
Oh, is that you? Oh, yeah. Awesome! All right, I can't see you from where I am, so gotcha.
I was gonna say, without the mask, it's hard to tell.
Yep. Oh, there he is. Yeah, it was you. That's awesome.
Yeah. We brought everyone in that we hired. We had only one person that we hired when we opened that had axe throwing experience. He had actually worked in another axe throwing place near Cleveland prior to going to college. It was kind of his high school job. So he came in, but everyone else was kind of right off the street, never having thrown an axe before, and we trained them how to do it, and a lot of online tutorials and watching the World Championship to get those tips and tricks and going from there. So we're kind of learning as we go as well and having a good time doing it.
I know my kids used to play hockey, and there was always somebody around sharpening skates. Do you guys have a axe sharpener guy?
Yep, that's me. Every Thursday morning, afternoon, I'm in the back with the grinder making sure we're ready for the weekend. Because all of our boards are put up with screws, so every once in a while, someone comes in and nails a screw and puts a big gouge in an axe, and we'll get that sharpened right back out and ready for the weekend.
Cool.
So speaking of that, here's my segue. I have a bit of an axe to grind with you. Hey.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if you remember back to Sunday night, but I was 5-0 in the round robin tournament.
You did well, yeah.
But then my brother, who had only won one game, somehow got the bye going into the championship round, and I ended up losing to my other brother in the first round. How come I didn't get a bye in the first round?
Right now, we have our own app, and we're developing it, and it just kind of randomly places people. It doesn't really take the top seed out of the round robin. It just kind of randomly places people. And we find it kind of funny. There's times when it's the absolute worst person in the group gets sent to the bye for the first round, and we just kind of play it off as, well, Steve Jobs wanted you there. So.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of felt like you were playing favorites with my brother since you guys graduated together. So
no.
Did he win the?
I scored all evenly.
Did Dan win the extra salty award?
As of right now, yes. Okay. I mean, I'm obviously still holding on to this grudge. So
Well, see, that's our way to get you back in. You'll come back in to win next time.
that's right. I want to come in and I want to get some lessons so I can just wipe the floor with them. And
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is it that so you guys have been going for a little while now. I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is because our church is in downtown Findlay. We love downtown Findlay, and just small businesses and everybody being able to kind of be open and get going and all these things. What is it that you love about being right there in downtown Findlay and just this community as you've been getting going?
Yeah, I love the community aspect. We've had people we've been open now 2 months. We opened right before Christmas, the 19th. So we're right at 2 months, and we've had people that have been in 4 and 5 times already. Mm-hmm. They enjoy it, so we want to build more of that community aspect. We want to develop leagues, not to steal the bowling alleys, people, but we want to get leagues coming over here and Monday nights throw in 2-3 hours a night, just kind of something different. Having downtown people that just walk around, we have more people that just pop in and say, hey, do you guys have an open lane? And usually Thursday nights we're able to take them, sometimes on Friday, but people are downtown eating lunch or brunch on Sunday and say, hey, can we come in and throw? So we have a good afternoon crowd on Sundays, and it's just the community aspect of Findlay that it's really starting to show itself already for us. So it's helping us with business. It's helping, business to business. We've had other places reach out and say, hey, what can we do to help you guys? Mm-hmm. I know we've already worked with Flag City Apparel, getting some shirts made up, and you saw this weekend our fancy tuxedo shirts.
Those were fancy. I was like, now that's a sweet uniform. All tuxedo t-shirts.
Cool.
I like that.
we had them for our fancy weekend for the holiday.
That's excellent.
Well, what I appreciate about where you guys are is that was such a landmark building for a while. I mean, everybody knew where Finders was.
Right.
And then when they left after the flood, of 07.
Right.
There was a kind of a void there, and then Muddy River Bike Shop came in for a little bit, and then again that place just sat empty.
Right.
And so it's really cool to have a business in there, and it seems like that space would be conducive to what you guys do. It's such a long space.
Yeah, it gives us the ability to have space kind of down the middle for people to set stuff up. We encourage people to bring pizza, outside food, that sort of thing, since we can't offer it currently. So we have those big bars down the middle that people can kind of set up a little buffet on. We've had several groups come in, 20, 25 people. They set up a buffet of pizza and go throw and go. It's just a fun family atmosphere for them.
Now, is that in the works to be able to offer food or something at some point?
Right now, we don't have the space. Just with wood storage and all that, at our current location, we don't. We keep saying that we want to take that old bar that's down in the basement of that building and try to do that. But there's so much that you'd have to do to get that space back up to code. And I think there's one entry exit, and it's outside.
Yep.
For down there.
Well, that whole building is so interesting, and I could go down this rabbit hole for a long time, because I know your neighbors, the hike camps, are good friends of mine, and I know that they've said like somewhere up in like the 3rd or 4th floor is like a huge ballroom, and there's a ton of like that building is so interesting. And actually, way back in the day, I mean, we're talking like the 40s and 50s. It was People's Shoe Store, and that was where my grandpa had his first job in Findlay, and that was like a part of what brought my family here into town, was right there where you guys are. If I would have told him back in the 50s that it was going to be all axe throwing at this point in time, I think they would have thought that was crazy and what's happened in the future. But yeah, it's great. I love that. Again, number one, you guys are downtown, and I love that the downtown businesses and community supports one another. That you guys are able to kind of get going, even in the midst of a really difficult time to be starting businesses. And then that building itself, and the history it has, that it's being used again. I think that's awesome. So,
yeah, we're actually trying to get some pictures and stuff like that of things. Like, we're working with the library. They have pictures of the ballroom.
Oh, cool.
So we're trying to get stuff like that to hang on the walls, because right now we were just so focused on getting open that the decoration wise kind of lacks. So we're working on kind of dressing it up a little bit. But we found stuff when we were renovating in there. We found jeweler's slip from 1958.
Oh my goodness.
A promise, like a little envelope that said promised by, so to get a jewelry piece repaired. Just all sorts of fun stuff. We made a Script Ohio out of conduit that we pulled out that was dated 1912.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of fun in that space.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for keeping that history alive, and thanks again for a great time last Sunday for helping bring some life to downtown. And I am still contesting the results of that tournament, but some point in time we'll be back. And
awesome.
And yeah, hey, thanks for taking some time with us today.
No problem. Thanks for the invite, guys. I hope to see you guys in there soon.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right, bye. Yeah, such a cool building, cool place. That ballroom that's up there, if you ever see some pictures of it, it's obviously abandoned now, and I don't know when they stopped using it, but you know, those dance halls and those sorts of things were really, really popular. You know, back in the 40s, 50s, and even before that. But man, it would be so cool to see things like that be able to be kind of restored. I'm sure there's a lot of code issues with being able to do that.
I'd like to. One thing that the pandemic's really put the kibosh on was our Dudes Days. St. Mark's used to have Dudes Days where we.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we went to a Browns Lions game. We went to skeet shooting once and some other stuff, and that would be really cool.
No, that'd be perfect. And what was interesting about it is, it didn't matter. Like, it was my parents and my brothers and their wives and Holly and I, and it didn't matter how strong you were, how, you know, any of that sort of thing. It was anybody could do it. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was able to figure it out, get it stuck in there and everything, and so it was a lot of fun.
You have any bounce back on you?
No, nope. I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I think at one point in time I said I think I found a hidden spiritual gift. Like, I was pretty good at this. I was pretty good at this, and just kind of right off the bat.
Because every once in a while on a video or something, you'll see one come.
No, my sister-in-law did throw one and let go a little soon, and it did almost hit the lights in the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
Which were not close to the target. I don't know how it was kind of like when you see the bowling thing and somebody hits a sprinkler head. It was that kind of action.
Nice.
Like, how did you do that? I have no idea. But it was a lot of fun. Okay, I wanted to get to this. Total switch of topics. But today is the beginning of the season of Lent. Tonight at 7 o'clock at the church, we're going to have an Ash Wednesday service. We're going to do it a little bit differently. I won't be putting the ashes on your forehead, but instead we'll have a little piece of burlap that has a cross that's painted on it with some of the ashes in the paint, and so you'll have that to take with you. So I hope you come to that. Also, we're going to try to live stream that online, 7 o'clock tonight. My question to you is, one of the things that is common for Christians during Lent is to fast in some way, shape, or form. And is there anything that first of all, do you practice that? And if so, is that something that you think this year it's going to be a part of what you do?
Normally, what I have practiced instead of giving something up is taking something on.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, this is the first time in a long time that Lent has snuck up on me.
Yeah.
And I have not given it any thought. Other than I was going to maybe send out a video to some of our newer youth about this is what Lent is and this is why we do what we do and that sort of thing.
I put out a video yesterday, not that I made, it's from, have you ever seen the Chuck Knows Church videos?
Yep.
And so he's got one on yesterday on Fat Tuesday, or Pancake Tuesday, or Shrove Tuesday. Shrove from the Latin word for shrive, which means to like give something up or whatever. I don't know. That's probably not the actual Latin definition, but just kind of talk about how that's a thing that you normally do to kind of show penance. And
I have a picture of me and Chuck doing the doo-wop together.
oh, really? You've met him? You've met Chuck?
Yep.
Where'd you meet Chuck?
At the National United Methodist Youth Conference in, I don't know when it was, 2007, 16-ish, 15-ish.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I wanted to pose for a picture, and he said, only if you'll doo-wop with me.
So you do wop.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. But he's got some good stuff on like the basics of
Yeah.
you know what some of these things mean and everything. So it might be worthwhile.
Another guy is Liturgy Guy.
Liturgy. I haven't seen Liturgy.
Which
Guy.
we as a district have brought him in before.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Same kind of.
Same kind of dude. Okay. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm giving up yet, or if I'm going to do it. I'm kind of the same. I don't often give things up. There's a great scripture around, you know, is this not the kind of fasting I choose to loosen the bonds of injustice and to break every yoke? And so it's more of a fasting from things, or instead of fasting from, it's fasting to something, you know, changing kind of an attitude or a way of living. But I was thinking about, because I'll be honest, I think sometimes I cop out doing that, instead of saying, no, why don't you give something up this time? Maybe there's something you could give up. I know I didn't do it last year because last Lenten season, we all gave up everything. It seemed like, because that's when, you know, lockdowns started. I mean, Ash Wednesday was one of our last in-person services last year. Before, I think we did Ash Wednesday, and then we had maybe one or two Sunday services, and then we were quarantined.
Yep.
After that. So we all gave up a lot for last year. I'm hoping to not give up as much this year, but I was thinking about, you know, what are the things, and I don't know if it might be some kind of food thing, just because I don't practice that discipline very often, and I think there is an importance to practicing spiritual disciplines. And so maybe there's something to that of you know, trying to practice one of the more traditional food disciplines in fasting. I've also thought about one of the things that's kind of a time waster for me is games on my phone. Like, I've just got little time wasting games on my phone that I play sometimes that I don't need to. I could be more attentive to my family in that way, and I could be more attentive to prayer in that way. I don't know. I'm feeling more of a push this year for some reason to practice some of these disciplines than I have in the past, and I can't put my finger on why.
See, and if I gave up phone games, James, a.k.a. Artie Smarty, his clan would be hurting.
So it's really a valiant thing you're doing by playing
Yes.
phone games, because you guys play games together and you help each other.
Yeah, we need you, man.
I'm not going to join because I already do too much of it as it is, and so I need to just not. Probably, I think I feel convicted enough that that's probably the thing. But I think I might add a food thing in there too, just because I can't remember the last time I've done that, and I think that there's there's something. Well, first of all, I think there's something biblical about it. But also, I think that there's just some like I feel like every year I do this thing where I make an excuse or come up with a reason for why I don't do that, and I do a different thing instead. So, that's not for everybody, and that's okay, and it's not because I'm holy or whatever. It's just for whatever reason this year I'm feeling compelled to do that.
Well, then, because we always assume that everybody knows what we're doing and why we're doing it. So you just mentioned it's not because I'm holier than thou. Why don't you tell our audience why you would give up something for Lent? I mean, what's the purpose?
Yeah. Well, I think that the purpose is, the season of Lent is meant to be a season where it's preparing our hearts in a way for everything that happens during Holy Week, to really kind of focus our hearts and our souls on that. And this is a long-standing tradition. Before you would go to worship, before you would go to the temple, before you would go and do any of these things, you would oftentimes begin that with a time of preparation, of fasting, of sometimes of ritual bathing, which has evolved into baptism, with getting your hearts right, with confessing your sins, and really just focusing your attitude and your attention on God, so that that has your full and undivided attention. And so the season of Lent is then a 40-day season of, and it's 40 days before Easter if you don't count the Sundays. So it's a season of just preparing your hearts to really be in a place of worship and really be in a place of gratitude and just spiritual focus on the passion of Christ and on his death and his resurrection. Maybe that's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
For me this year. And so in doing a fast, the way it works for me is every time when I fast from something, I want it to be something that matters to me, or something that I'll notice. Like, I wouldn't fast from, I don't know, like trying to
Cigarettes.
Yeah, because I don't smoke. So I'm not going to fast from that because that's not going to pop into my mind every day.
Right.
Like, man, I wish I had one of those, That's why some people will fast from things like chocolate, especially if you really have a sweet tooth. They're like, all right, because every time I crave chocolate, that's a reminder then of why I'm doing this. And an opportunity to turn our hearts towards Christ. And so my discipline in doing that, whenever I feel those desires for whatever it is I'm fasting from, is I try to pray the prayer that Jesus prayed in the garden on that night: not my will, but thine be done. So it's a turning of it's just a reminder, a daily reminder, a constant reminder to turn myself towards Christ.
And that's what I wanted to get at for the newbies was,
right.
It's that time of, I'm really craving chocolate right now. Well, it'd be a great opportunity to think about Jesus. I do have one out there for anybody looking for one. And that is a challenge that I had given our youth, which was, hey, what if you were to read 2 Bible verses a day? Mm-hmm. And what I encouraged them to do was to go somewhere in the Gospels and the words in red, which are Jesus's words.
That's great.
Pick through a couple of those every day so you can find out what mattered to Jesus.
Right.
And get to know him a little better. And so if you're looking for something to do, what a great one. Even if it's just 1 or 2 verses a day,
right? I
think you'd be surprised at how it can shift your heart condition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I guess that'll be my challenge to you all is find a way to use this season as a season to really I feel like last Lent we missed it. We, in a lot of ways, we missed. I mean, there were some great things about it. In, you know, what's really important, you know, being with family, but we were very distracted last Lenten season. So this is a time for me, at least, that I feel like I need to really, I want to really focus on Jesus this Lenten season. I always want to focus on Jesus, but this coming Holy Week, that's, you know, 6 weeks away, the passion, the death, the resurrection of Jesus, what all of that means for me. So that's just a thing that I've been thinking about as I'm preparing for all of this. So anyway, I challenge you to try to find a way to prepare your hearts and minds as well. And one way to do that is to join us for Ash Wednesday tonight at 7 o'clock in the sanctuary. It'll also be live online, hopefully, on Facebook and YouTube. And then also we will begin our series this Sunday called Simon Peter, where we're going to be kind of looking at the disciple, Peter, who is a central figure in everything around the Gospels. Other than Jesus, he's probably the most important figure in the Gospels. He is mentioned more than all of the other disciples combined. I mean, he is just seen as incredibly important. And so you're going to hear a lot about him. It's based on the book, Simon Peter, Flawed but Faithful Disciple, by Adam Hamilton, who will be our Church Chat guest on March 10th.
Woo!
What? So we are excited to have him, and we'll be teasing that a lot more because we're nerding out. We're pretty pumped.
This will be us.
Hi. Yes.
In my hand, I don't know what to do with my hand.
It's such a nerdy thing for us to be kind of, I don't know. But I'm excited to have him. He's had some great influence on my life. And so it'll be great to have him with us. So until that time, join us tonight. Join us this Sunday, 9 o'clock traditional, 11:15 contemporary service. So excited to have you all with us. Also on Saturday, Corinne has an event, and I'm not remembering the time off the top of my head of when it is, but it is a family game night pretzel day. It's going to be in the dock. So check our Facebook page for more information. We'll make sure that we share all of that. I think that's all I've got.
That's it.
James, anything else for the good of the order?
No, sir.
All right. Well, thank you to Brian from X Ventura for being with us today. And thank you all for watching with us, and hope to see you soon. So
I don't have anything special over here, but
you have nothing special? All right.
I'm
I'm
gonna clap along today.
all right, clap along, and I want you to sing A Third Above.
A third above. Okay. I think I can do it.
It's Church Chat with Pastors Dan and Dave. Come hang out with us on our stream. It's Church Chat Wednesday.
You got it there by the end. You got it.
There, Emily was singing the third above, so I had to do something else.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to do the
I was just trying to pick something else.
something else. All
I
right.
think I was the third down.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody, take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.